Welcome back to the podcast. The Strength in Numbers. We are now season 1, episode 11. We're going over some DIY strongman projects, as well as just talking about some general strongman news, events, and going over the latest World's Ultimate Strongman challenges. Corey, you want to talk about why you're constantly nonchalantly looking over your shoulder?
In here, except for all the really cool things that I've made myself to work out during this crisis instead of whining about it. That's all.
So how long did it take for the first log and the second log?
The longest part for the first one was finding it. That one I literally found on the side of the road. I just drove for a couple of different days in random directions after a storm, hoping to find one. And I did. And then that one probably took me probably a little bit over a month to finish it. And I just used scrap pieces that I had. What's that?
So when you say over a month, like how many hours do you think you spent over the course of that month? If you look
I have no idea. Oh man, I can tell you, chiseling. I would get up. I started chiseling at about 8 a.m. because I would try to let everybody wake up and not be that guy that's out at 6 a.m. banging on the. But I would probably finish doing that about 4 o'clock. So I did that for 3 or 4 days to get the handles done, because the first one I did completely by hand with just a hammer and a chisel. That was a really bad time. Don't do that unless you absolutely have to and you have no other recourse. Kudos to you. My hands hurt for days. My elbows hurt. Triceps hurt, but they do look a little bigger, so maybe that helped. I don't know.
So you got a pump and a good workout in building your log to.
Absolutely. There were definitely days that I came in and I told my wife, it's like, I'm not doing pressing today. I can't do it because I was out working on the log. And when I started working on that piece of wood, it was 190 some pounds. So I'm wrestling 190 pounds all over my yard, turning it, twisting it, rolling it, measuring it, finding the point of center, and chiseling it and taking chunks out. And that is a lot more work than I thought it would be. And then when I finished the first one, I knew I could make it better. And I have this propensity to want to do shit like that. Like, I can't just leave it alone. And I was like, okay, I got to come up with a theme that's better than the Wonder Woman theme for that one. So I was like, well, either Captain America or the Hulk, because I was torn because I love both of them. Didn't go with the Hulk because I felt like that log wasn't quite big enough because I can lift it. So if I can lift it and press it overhead, it's not a Hulk log, but it's a really badass America log. And I finished it for the holiday weekend, and I literally went outside that day and was, doing some really awesome presses out, just celebrating America.
Is that pretty much reserved for Rob? Well, either of the Robs, I guess.
Whoever can press it at my gym, if I make it, it's probably what's going to happen is I'm just going to bring it to Lightning Fitness and leave it there because I can't do anything with it. But
do you plan on making your third, or
at some point
a long break from?
I do need a break because even making that one with the power tools and stuff to help, it was still a pain in the ass. I bought a $60 chainsaw off some sketchy dude on Craigslist. I showed up and he opens his tailgate, and it's like a bad deal in New York City, right? He's got 4 of them lined up on the tailgate. And he goes, all right, take your pick, son, $60. And I look at the guy, and he's wearing a mask, because of COVID, and it's all fucking sketchy. And he's kind of like stepping back, just looking at him. And I told him, I was completely honest. I said, sir, I don't know anything about chainsaws. Never owned one. I've never started one. I've never ran one. I've looked at them, but I don't know which one's the best one. And I'm sure you're not going to be completely honest with me and tell me which one's the best one. And he gave me a funny look, and I told him, I said, and I don't know if you're smiling right now at my joke because you're wearing a mask. And then he started laughing, and I went, okay, this is a good start. And he pointed to the one he gave me, and he said, honestly, this is the best one. It's the oldest one of the bunch, so you probably wouldn't pick that one. But the older the chainsaw, the better it's made. All those newer ones that look really nice, it's just fancy plastic.
Yeah, the older ones are usually metal. What brand is it?
I believe it's a McCullough Classic 200.
I have never heard of that.
McCullough's actually really good. That was I've been running chainsaws for a very long time. Since I was, I think, 11. It was the first time I ever ran a chainsaw, and it was an old Bcaa, and it was there. The one I ran was really heavy, and it was all metal. It was that thing still runs to this day. So that, yeah, he sold you the right. That's one.
And to do plunge cuts for the first time ever, which is the thing that they tell you, don't do that with a chainsaw. And I'm like, this is why I'm buying this. And he looked at me and he goes, don't do that with a chainsaw, especially this old saw. I said, well, what about the other 3 then? Can I do that with the other 3? And he goes, no, you shouldn't do it with any of the saws. So here I am in my front yard. I got my Chuck Taylors on because, the rubber toes protection. And I got a pair of jeans on, and I thought, well, I'll wear my long boxers because they go down a little bit further. There's that. And I started to plunge the saw into the fucking tree. And lo and behold, I was able to get in about an inch at a time because the chain was super dull. And I'm sure it was old because it would just constantly stretch out to the point where I would have to stop the saw and then pull the bar out, retighten it, because you would get slack to the point where it looked like an old man's beard. And I'm like, I don't think it's supposed to look like that.
No.
Again, novice, didn't know any better, but tightened it up, was smart enough to know to do that, and then went right back into the log.
God damn it.
See, that is one situation, because it probably is a little bit lower on RPMs than like some of the newer saws.
Oh, definitely.
So for doing those cuts, now as far as torque goes, you can saw through anything with it, but going like this, you need something that's spinning a little bit faster to really get those nice, good cuts. We used to have our names and stumps.
I'm not too worried about it because I'm thinking of making one eventually, because like now that Corey made one, I want one too.
No, he made.
If I can do it, anyone can do it. I'm just putting it out there, guys. Seriously, all joking aside, just real quick, I have zero experience doing any of this shit. I just film stuff with a camera, guys. That's all I fucking do, and I've made this. So you can do it. Go ahead, Justin.
At work, we got 12-inch, 14-inch, and 10-inch hole saws.
Oh, so Jesus.
So
like cheating.
So you're going to cheat.
It's not cheating when you have the equipment. I mean...
It's cheating.
You didn't earn it. That log right there, I earned swing by motherfucking swing. And if you look in there, you can't see it from where we're at, but you can see each individual chisel mark that it took to make that
thing. Like, wow, that looks smooth and like amazing looking.
That one does. That one looks nice. Look at how perfectly square cut the top is. Come on, guys.
It better be.
Look at that amazing decal on the front of it. Does anyone else have that? No. And I was smart enough to put one facing up and one facing down, so that way when you press it, it looks right overhead.
Forethought. Man, I get it.
I also watched a lot of Slater videos.
Actually, that is kind of cool to think. So when you're doing a log, right, you hold one side of it like when it's down, and then you flip it over and show on the other side. So if you have the text vertical on one side and reversed on the other, then the whole time you're doing the log, whatever the logo is, would stay in the right orientation.
And that's a Steve Slater thing. That wasn't off my head. It was just something I noticed when I looked at his logs, and the one that we have at Lightning Fitness, it says Slater log on one side, and then the other side, it says Lightning Fitness upside down. And you're supposed to grab it with that facing you, so that way when you press it, it says Lightning Fitness the right side up. It's like, that's smart.
Idea, yeah.
So I figured I'd try to replicate as much of Steve Slater's work as I possibly could. I mean, replication is one of the most sincerest form of flattery, and he makes some of the most amazingly beautiful logs I've seen. Now, there are other people that I've noticed through my course of creating these things. Like, I think another guy in Australia, Fenrir Logs. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. If you even watch our podcast, awesome. Your logs are gorgeous. I would check them out. It's in Starting Strongman on Facebook. He posts his stuff in there, and they're natural. Like, he doesn't lacquer it and stain it like I do. It's just a regular straight up log with rope, and it's gorgeous. That Australian wood is pretty once you strip the bark off it and you really sand it down. Like, oh man, hers, the Wonder Woman log looks really cool. It's some sort of pine. I don't know if yellow pine or whatever, but it's got a lot of really cool detail in it when you get up on it and you look at it.
Yeah, that would be neat. I have an oak log already cut to length, I just need to take the time and build my logs like you did, Corey, which I've actually reached out to you about the handles. 'Cause that was the only part that I was like, that seems like too much work. But
That
then
part
wait,
sucks.
How'd
it
you do
sucks,
your
but yeah, his handle way is the way I'm
Is
doing
it just
mine.
is it just two of those plumbing fixtures that bolt in on the sides and then a bar that screws into the center, or how did you do them?
All my stuff is a mechanical pressure fit. It's the best way to get it in there to where it's basically it's never coming back out. What you do is I take a square and I find the center of the box on both sides, and then you find the square and you run a line across so everything is perpendicular to itself, and then you get a bit extender that's 13 inches or 14 inches, however wide your log is. Go an inch or two wider. Throw your spade bit in the end of that, and then once you start your hole on one side, you line it up with the other one, and you just punch and run all the way through in one straight shot. Once you pull that back out, your holes should be lined up if you took the time to do it right, which I didn't on the first one, but I fixed it. You can fill the gaps with epoxy. A little tip. But what you do after you have the holes is you basically take your pipe. I use 1 1/4 inch pipe, black pipe. It comes pre-cut at Lowe's. Shout out to Lowe's, sponsor us. You can get it.
Yeah.
I believe it's like $7.98 for a chunk that's 10 inches long. And you take it at the top of the hole. It comes pre-threaded, which is awesome too, by the way, because it helps it bite into the log. But you start by twisting it into the top hole. Use a bit that's slightly smaller than the pipe you're putting in. If you have to, use one that's a little bit smaller than that, and then just use a Dremel tool to kind of sand out the inner part of the hole and make it just big enough. Twist that pipe in to where the threads bite all the way down in, and then grab 2 hammers and have a good old time. And just fucking blacksmith that shit all the way down. And what it does is it'll sink it into the other side of the hole. Make sure once you're getting close to having it all the way through and meeting the other hole, you may need to take a crowbar and just kind of wedge it a little bit left or right just to nudge it into the hole. But once you get it there, guys, we know what we're doing. It's in the hole, we drive it home all the way down. And what happens is the end that you're driving on mushrooms over the top of the log. That side ain't never coming out. The other side was driven into the other side with, bit of the hole being a little bit smaller, so it's mechanically fit in there. It's not coming back out. And then just to be sure, I take a little bit of Gorilla epoxy, 2-part epoxy, and run it around the inside of both the holes when I'm all done and locked in.
Yeah, that was the method that when you sent me the video of that, and I think we talked privately about that. And when you said that, I was like, well, I just need to grab my saw and do this, because that was the only like kind of hold up for me, because taking the bark off and all that, I mean, there's work in that, because even with tools, you're still going to be manually stripping that bark off. You're going to still be manually, if you want to sand it, make it a little more smooth, that all still has to happen by hand. No matter what tools you have, you're using your hands for that one. If you want it, I assume if you'd want it to turn out nice, real nice. But that handle, your handles, and then that in-depth explanation there, that's just...
I mean, anybody's welcome to ask me any questions about any part of it, where I got it, what I used for it. A lot of people weren't sure about how you do the weight holders on the end. They're like, "Oh, do we have somebody weld something together for you?" And I said, "No, I don't have access to a welder. This is all done by one guy at home during COVID, just going to Lowe's and back. That was it. I went up to Lowe's and I bought 1.5 inch pipe flange. Got a 1.5 inch pipe. Same thing. Lowe's, what's up? Hook us up. Bought a 12-inch piece of 1.5 inch pipe that's the size of our plates. Slapped a plate on there in the store. They even let me bring it in just to test fit and make sure it fit. Fit just fine, just like the homemade axle I made that's hanging over my head right now. And then you screw that on there. You add a little bit of that red pipe lock. I don't know what it's called. Thread lock.
Thread lock, yeah.
Yeah, and then you get yourself some 3-inch lag bolts, and you fucking drive those suckers all the way in. But before you do that, you drill little pilot holes all the way around, and you impregnate those pilot holes with a little bit of that epoxy that I use for the handles. And when you drive the screws in, it helps those hold and bite in case you drive them in too far and you strip the hole. And it just helps the whole thing hold on.
Mm-hmm.
I've suspended it by both the pegs. The log itself weighs 130 pounds. It's hung by the pegs for over 3 days, and there's no wiggle, there's no nothing. And I'm only planning on using 10-pound or 25-pound plates, which are smaller than the diameter of the log itself, so it won't get any, flex pressure if it's been dropped or anything. And I Have the good old Titan Fitness pads, the crash pads back here. Hey, what's up, Titan Fitness? Sponsor us.
Hell yeah, Titan Fitness. I earn a few.
$150. I'll tell you what.
Come on.
Titan Fitness. I am on the bandwagon with these pads. They're $150. I think the Rogue equivalent is like $200 plus. It's ridiculous.
We me and him have the same metal log from Titan Fitness.
These are the best price pads out there that I've seen. Absolute, hands down, best price pads. And we have guys like Rob Kearney at our gym at Lightning Fitness that have dropped hundreds of pounds from overhead onto those pads numerous times, and they're still alive. So I bought a pair. Of course, I was going to buy a pair.
Yeah, they're
right.
Titan Fitness is phenomenal. I have their 10-inch log and their SSB bar. I bought those. It was perfect because I knew I needed to work out. Unlike everyone else who was like, I need to work out but don't have anything. I already had some stuff. And I went immediately and was like, Titan Fitness, what do you got? And then I seen the SSB and that 10-inch log. I was like, well, now I own you.
Yeah, I want that SSB bar super bad. I miss that from the gym.
Oh, that SSB bar is...
I bet you I could make one too, but it would be really uncomfortable out of making that out of pipe with all the joints. And it would be very expensive too. Believe it or not, that pipe stuff, it adds up. Like, don't get the galvanized stuff, guys. That's like $2 or $3 more for the same thing. Yep. Just get the black iron. And if you really want to, I painted mine. And then I put the varnish over the top of it to protect it. Speaking of painted things, oh, guys. I also made matching weights because I'm a bitch like that. And I have to have pretty fancy. And it's shiny because I used varnish to protect it. For everybody that's out there going, oh, it's going to chip and fall off. Of course it is. Everything chips and falls off of plates. When they come painted, that happens. But when you put a coat of varnish over the top of it, it's going to make it last a lot longer. Oh, yeah, and I also hand-painted the letters, too, because why not? I'm a bougie bitch.
Now there's enough paint on it. It's 4.6 kilograms.
There you go. I don't know. Does anybody have any 2.5-pound Deadpool plates? I do.
Just flexing on everyone. All right.
Hey, it's a do-it-yourself podcast, and I mean, we wanted to talk about things that we've done ourselves, so I took and painted some, really flex on the world. Here's some 25-pound plates that are painted with gold for my wife because she loves Wonder Woman, so why not that too?
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's you inspired me there again, Corey, because I my plates are older. The cast iron, I got them for free from a guy. He hooked me up with 300 pounds of them, and I love it. But this was a few years back. But I'm actually my boys are doing they want to do hydro dipping with controllers, and they're doing their own hydro dip things. So my deal with them was, all right, dip my weights. I'll buy you the paint. You guys do the dipping, and they're gonna actually. So my kids are gonna have a huge hand in how pretty my gym looks when it's all said and done, because they're
free labor.
Free labor, but they also want to do it, and if they mess up my plates, it's no big deal because they have friends wanting them to hydro dip controllers and do stuff like that for them. It's like, why don't you do all these plates? Figure it out, get the best technique down, and then there you go. So it's helping them while also helping me, yes, but I'm helping them as well. It gives them something to do, and whenever I'm older and don't want to lift weights anymore, when I'm 70, and they'll have painted plates by them that hopefully they can then pass on, and we just keep these painted hydro dip plates and stuff for them.
So what was the first project that started all this? Because I think you were working on something. I created the DIY channel, and then you just never stopped for 2 months.
The first thing is the very first thing that got me started is it was the stones. Yeah, it's during the COVID thing. I couldn't get to the gym, and I went, well, what's the easiest thing I can do? I can lift stones. There was a guy down the street that was getting rid of a whole bunch of stones because he had done some blasting to enlarge his basement. I just would happen to be walking by one day, and I asked if I could have some of them. And he looked at me strangely and said, yes, because I have to pay to get them taken away, and you want them for free? Go for it. And so I took home, I have 16 natural stones, ranging from 45 pounds to 170 pounds, varying in shape and type, for absolutely no money whatsoever.
Nice.
And when I got them home, I realized I could shoulder them all, and I could almost press all of them except for the last 3 or 4. And so I thought, all right, well, what else can I do with them? And that was when I got the idea of building the platform. So we built a platform. And then I went, fuck, I got an Atlas stone platform. I don't have any Atlas stones. So I found a guy that had Atlas stone molds, and I bartered with him, and I borrowed them from him, and I've been making myself stones at home. Never played with concrete before, never done any stone molding before. You don't have to be a super genius. You just have to be smart enough to know where to go. Go to YouTube. Watch a lot of videos. Watch Steve Slater's videos. Steve Slater is the man, by the way. Steve Slater sponsor us. I don't know if you sponsor people. He is the shit when it comes to making things. He makes logs.
Yep.
He makes farmer's carries. He makes stones. And he's been making stones forever.
Yeah.
Same with logs.
His molds are really nice.
They're the best molds out there, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I do like the hybrid molds. Well, just because of
Hybrid junkie.
You're right. I've made 4 of those stones, and they are 4 hybrid Atlas stones, and they're just easy, man. They're just easy to do. They break apart nice-ish. The flat spot on the bottom is a bit large, but everything else about them. Once
You know
if you're
what bothers
patient,
me the most, and it's a small thing, but small things bother me. Obviously, I'm into the details. I hate it that they put a number for the weight on the stone, and it doesn't come out to that number. Even if it's off by a pound, it annoys me. Like, and you can't get rid of it unless you grind it off.
grind it off.
I mean,
I'm actually experimenting with because I made
The
multiple
fillers?
weights. Yep, filling it and trying to get. I'm gonna fill them in. I did it on one, but it didn't quite turn out because it was again another experiment. The nice thing about DIY stuff is it's all trial and error. You get like, and I love like my 2 racks that I've built. They're made of wood, so if I need different holes for different things, I literally can just drill them, which is awesome. And then I have that one I just made my stone platform / overhead pressing rack. And you can just add to it, and you can constantly be like, what can I do here? Well, I can add a hook here to hang shit on, or making your own stuff just is so much nicer. And then with the Atlas stones, I was experimenting with different types of concrete as well, and different ways of filling in the holes. Using mortar is what my next test is. I even took like the regular stone concrete, with just regular concrete with stones in it, and I actually mixed this batch of that up a little soupy, and basically just used the concrete powder and like the sand and lime, and kept the stones out of it, and used that to fill in some holes on my one stone for some air bubbles, and it worked really well. It did not work for the number though. Could not get enough in the number to cover that up, but it definitely worked well. So just that experimentation is one of my favorite things about DIY.
I like the happy accident too, like you were saying, like the weird stuff that you don't expect. Like when I made the axle bar, I think it was a 12-foot piece of pipe that I ended up having to buy to get the 7 feet that I needed. And when they cut it, I took both the pieces home because I had to pay for the whole thing. And then when I got home, I started looking at it, and I was kind of messing around with it, and I went, I turned it into a fat grip curl bar. It's just a little mini curl bar. It's only about yay wide, but it's wide enough to put some weights on and get your arms in there and do, some really hard curls, some forearm curls with a 2-inch bar. That's nuts. But I went, that's cool. And I would have never thought about that. And I almost left that piece there for them to put in their little bargain bin. And I was like, no, I'll bring it home because I might be able to find something to do with it. And sure as hell, my thrifty ass figured it out. Just put a couple of pipe clamps on it, just like I did for the axle bar itself, and then slide the weights in, and you're good to go.
Yeah, there's like happy accidents as you described them. Just the ability to do that. That's why I love the DIY stuff so much, because look at it from the outside. Some may be like, oh, you just are cheap or whatever. It's like, yeah, but I like to do stuff, and now I own this and can do whatever the fuck I want to it, and I don't have to worry about like, buying all the parts from one place, and it's just really nice. And then you can do it.
It's cool because you can customize it too and like make it the way you want, and no one else has that like at all.
Exactly,
it's your thing.
Yeah, I did take my arms from the guy I found on YouTube for my one rack. That arm design, the how he built his phenomenal. He built a leg press and everything. That guy is awesome. What the fuck's his name? I stole his idea for the arms because I wanted to make them adjustable, but I didn't want to use just regular pipes like I did on my other rack. And,
I borrowed the cable pulley system from Coop on Garage Gym Reviews on YouTube. That was $25, and I was able to make my own cable machine. Awesome, super awesome. I had to make my own loading pin, but
I remember that was another one of the first things you made besides and all that.
Oh yeah, you guys should see. I've made accessories since then too.
Oh boy,
these are pretty rad. I got to take off my headphones. I'll be right back.
All right.
The podcast has now become short and tell with Corey.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, it's what the podcast's about. So, what on earth is all this?
I have all these toys. So I decided that I was really bored just pulling on the rope. So I went out and I made us a really awesome tricep rope, overhead,
baseballs, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, all that good shit. Anything, like single arm, you can put the two ropes together. And all it took me was just a scrap piece of rope that I had from making the first log. And then I wrapped a whole bunch of athletic tape around it to get it a little bit thicker and make it easier to hold on to. And then a $2 Shackle from Lowe's. What's up, Lowe's?
Sponsor.
And then if you really want to get in the tricep and do a whole bunch of weird grip stuff, took a baseball. And I put an eye hook through it with 2 bolts on the bottom. That was a whopping $1.25. Also at Lowe's.
At this point, Grip Genie should hire you to design it yourself.
And then here we have ourselves a lat pull down bar. It's just 2 pipe clamps in the center. Come on, camera, you want to? There it is. And then I got a carabiner attached between the 2 of them so it can't get out. Little bit of a pipe cap on either end. You can row, all kinds of different things. And it was like $10.
Jesus.
Jeez.
You can look online, and I think the cheapest you can find them is 15 or 20, and I was even able to undercut that just by going up to Lowe's and just looking around. Like, none of these ideas were really crazy great ideas. I literally would go up to Lowe's and just walk around because I was bored. And I walked up and down the aisles, and I'd look over at stuff, and I'd be like, oh, I could make this out of that. That'd be cool. Throw it in the cart.
Ooh, shiny.
Yeah, and I was just walking around, like, piecing stuff together, and the guy's looking at me over there, and one of them finally asked me, he says, what you doing? And I started to explain it to him, and he just was like, okay, I'm good, and he just walked away. He's whatever, man.
He's like, you know what you're doing, I'm just going to leave you alone.
Yeah, it was when this first started, and nobody was really thinking about going to Lowe's to get stuff. They were just busy complaining about, fuck, I can't find any weights, I can't find a bench or a rack. I was already at Lowe's, man, picking over that stuff, and I'm the reason why when you got there wasn't as much stuff.
That's what I saw a bunch of people on Twitter were complaining about. I can't lift it. They started trolling with all the stuff you made. I'm like, okay, so you have an excuse now.
A lot of my
I'm like, I can't lift. I'm like, go pick up a big rock. Come on now.
Yep, that was the one that most of my friends were sending to other friends that were complaining. They're like, I don't know what you're complaining about. Corey's over here, and he's just lifting rocks and having a great time.
Strongman. We lift rock
that was
good.
the immediate reflex. Everyone in Strongman went out and got a rock.
Yep.
Everyone got.
Our sport is tailor-made for something like this. What is at the heart of all strongman, in my mind anyways, is just lifting odd, heavy shit. That's what it always seemed to be based on. If you go way back and you watch the early contests, like World's Strongest Man, they weren't all like, deadlift, overhead press, Viking press, some sort of a pull in a moving event. Like there was weird shit like sumo wrestling and stuff in there. Like
they were bending steel bars around their heads.
Yes, with the towels and on their face. Yes.
Lifting mini fridges with a pull. You're like, all right, come on. Now it's like,
stop it.
Let's just load gravel into a bag and take it over there.
Yes, that was one of the weirdest ones. Yes, I do remember that one. Those guys like taking the 3-barrel loads, having to equal a certain amount of weight. And I remember one guy tried to do it, and he like filled the whole thing up all in one thing and tried to get it down there, and still didn't have enough, and ended up getting beat by the guy that was just filling up one at a time, real slow. just such
Or
odd
like the old
events.
like shoulder strength, they're just taking 2 champagne bottles. They're really big and holding them like that. Now they get the freaking Hercules.
And it was always based on like where they were, you know, like one time I think they were in Switzerland or something like that, or maybe they were in Wisconsin. They made them hold like that wheel of cheese, or the beer steins when they were in Germany. Like it was always something kind of themed out to where they were. And I think that's what always in my mind made those contests memorable and also really cool is they tailored it to that area. One time they did it in Santa Claus, Indiana or some shit like that. And it was snowing outside and you're like, what the hell? These guys are going to compete in the snow. But like, if you do that nowadays, the people would have a shit fit.
Oh my God, yeah. Athletes
And then you get like that jump Sigmarsson deadlift. He's literally just lifting 2 wagon wheels on a square axle. Like they just use what they have. I love that stuff.
I totally took us off on a tangent. I'm sorry. I had to go there with it. But like,
I think it's a good transition to the next thing. But the Oleksi Novikov.
Oh yeah, the 100 kilo dumbbell.
So you guys are gonna have to. So I'm gonna preface this. I was busy yesterday doing my thing, and I watched some clips from it. It looked a lot like the old Belsack clip where he was bouncing the Atlas stone up, where Oleksi Novikov was just bouncing the dumbbell. He would throw it down, it would bounce over, and he could just grab it. Basically, he hit it so it would bounce exactly where he needed to, pick it up, and press it. Corey, I know you're a fan of do whatever it takes. I'm okay with that and calm. However, I've seen that, and I've been fairly honest about Oleksi Novikov and his fingertips being apparently the strongest fingertips in the world during his deadlift
sleeves
and the elbow sleeves. I mean, he's notorious for kind of this stuff, but I did see he got the record.
And then Mateusz mastered it just for fun.
Yep.
Are you serious?
Yep. You didn't see it?
It's just like home video. He's just like,
that's the best part of this.
That's why we let you finish. We all knew that what we were actually going to talk about. But they let you play all the way through. Then like basically right after he did it, just so we could find out how many reps it was, Mateusz just goes in his backyard and just throws it up the same amount of reps and then just posts it to Instagram. Just like, I'll let you have your 15 minutes of fame, but everybody knows I'm the king of the dumbbells.
Didn't you send a video about that?
Post it in general.
Strongest Fan definitely did a video and has it on there. That's for sure. If you want it, go check his stuff out. It's for him. But he literally answered right back, no questions asked. And I'm sure he was prepping for this the entire time. Not that he had to prep very much, but he just walked up literally and just did it with no fanfare whatsoever. Didn't flex on anyone afterwards. Just was like, yep.
He didn't need to flex any more than that.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like he knows, and that's what I like about him so much is that he doesn't have to do that. He's not that over the top. I don't think I could be that way. If I did that, I would have to be like, whoa, fucking
so subtle.
Let it know.
Yeah, I just love it where he's like, I don't want anyone thinking this record means that anyone's better at me than this. I was wondering why it wasn't him doing some sort of record in the first place on World's Ultimate. Or maybe he had the opinion of it doesn't count and all that, and then this happened. Showing us it doesn't matter.
I tell you this much, there's a lot of people that are doing it, and as nobody has answered back except for him so far. And it's just interesting to me.
I didn't think he was going to do it. I mean, I was thinking Oberst was going to do it. Like, of all the people, because Oberst was talking about how meaningless and all that, and then he said like multiple times on his last 3 or 4 videos, he's like, the American record, I could do it right now.
I wish he would just to do it.
He's waiting till after Rob ups himself by 1 pound, which 1 pound, cool. Maybe he'll overdo it by 5. I don't know. I'm in the same place with Thor's. Like, yeah, you deadlifted 501. Cool, Price is Right rules. Good for you. If you're gonna do it, fucking do it. Do it by at least 5 pounds. Come on, make it a decent measurable increment. But 1 pound. I mean, I can't do it, so it's hard for me to sit here and be like, oh, fuck that, it doesn't matter. But to an athlete at that level, I don't understand how you get that hyped and excited for beating yourself by 1 pound.
They pay them very well, I'm guessing.
I know there's money involved, but
like how the hype happens.
as a true athlete, there's certain things that you get up for, and I would assume like smashing a record is what you want to do. You don't just want to, kind of like.
So all these were 1 pound. I don't think it's up to them. I think part of the contract is like you're breaking it by the bare minimum that we can guarantee you to break it for. Because if they break it, better ratings. So they
Yeah,
don't
but
want them to
wasn't
go-
Tom Stoltman's stone way more than the last?
Was it?
Or was it
I thought
just
it was said to be 1 pound more?
I think
was it exactly
one.
one?
His
Yeah,
was
Yeah.
1 pound more.
See, I
Yeah,
don't
all
remember what he
the
did
Arnold,
at the.
yeah.
I know,
One pound and
the
one
one at the Arnold to me didn't even happen because there was like nobody there, so I forgot about it. But you're right, it was only 1 pound.
And so I think it may be part of the contract thing where they want they want the best guarantee that it'll happen because they're all just doing it by one. No one's going over. But
That's what hurts it from my perspective. Like it was a cool thing, but I don't. If you're only gonna, go for it. Fucking let these guys open it up and go for it. Then if you're trying to tie them up and keep them from going for what they want to go for, let them shoot for the fucking stars if that's what they want to do. Let them do it.
Because I feel like 1 kilo, 1 pound, that just means you're equal with someone. That's not enough on any given day.
Yeah, it's not enough to separate you at all in my mind. Yeah, I get it. You did it. That's great.
5 kilos. And on any lift really, but yeah, I just love Mateusz's response. Just so everyone knows, this isn't a big deal. Could have done this
But
any
this
day.
is my record.
I'm at least having a hand in it. You can't say it's just him. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, and so when we brought this up, I had to watch Mateusz Kieliszkowski's doing it, and he really did just. You guys were right.
There was only one soft lockout that I saw, and I think it was rep 7.
He looked
Something
so
like
better.
that.
He was so much
It was
better.
only one.
And in shittier conditions as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's like, hey guys, don't forget me.
He's just like, yeah. No, do you think he did 12 just to not be like that big of an asshole? But just he tied him just to be just the right amount of a subtle fuck you and not a
watch it with like a
fuck you?
stopwatch to see if he had extra time or not. So I'm not sure, but I'm sure he could have done more. There wasn't a point where he was rushed at all in that he was like scrambling ever. So
I still hope there's a chance that both Robs that they contact Ober since all this is clearing up and have them do it together against each other face to face.
I think that would be an ideal situation for the American log because Oberst wants it back and Kearney wants it to be a legitimate record. I would assume. I think
also probably wants to see how high he can get it as well. Like he wants to make sure Oberst probably doesn't get it back.
Sure, he doesn't.
You would hope.
Once you have something, you want to keep it as long as you can.
Yeah, just ask Eddie.
Yeah. Or the Godfather, Big Z.
That, which by the way, has been the highlight of the WS feats of strength for me, is just that.
Yeah, please just.
He blinks like 3 times during the whole duration.
Yeah,
he
he just
move anything. The
I
stairs.
am Big Z. No.
I also love how Big Z just has a giant cardboard cutout of himself in his fucking gym.
Well, in the most
see that too.
They had a judge there for the down, so he wasn't even doing the down. He was just doing the stare and nothing but the stare. Didn't flinch like the whole time. No twitch. Like, did his camera feed stop?
You know why he has that cardboard cutout of himself in his gym? So that way he can look at people that are weak and point at that and say, "That's even stronger than you."
God damn it. Like the dude has to have an entire wall of shells just for trophies. Just take a picture in front of like.
It's the motivational cardboard cutout.
That's right. Wouldn't that motivate you if that was in your gym? Just
You couldn't hold up that much cardboard.
Oh my god.
Who's
Big Z, don't hurt me. I'm sorry.
Oh, the next one's Rhiannon Lovelace. Like
love
her stone record.
Everything she does blows my mind. That's all I have to say about that. Like,
she's phenomenal, isn't she?
Wow. There's a girl at our gym. I'm not going to say she's Rhiannon Lovelace, but she is small in stature, very fucking strong, though. And I see her work, and I just go, And then just to be able to be in the presence of like then see Rhiannon would be amazing. So one of these days I'm gonna go to a show where she's competing just to see that happen. Because I watched little Pam at our gym tear it up. She's stronger than I am, without a doubt. There is no questioning it. Whatever, pound for pound, she is way stronger than me. And it's fun to watch.
Yeah, hers is gonna be good. Yeah. I've nothing really add. She's just always fun to watch.
Her personality is awesome. I love the colored hair. I love the undercut. Like, just her as a person, she just seems really interesting and cool.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
So that's
It'll be a fun one to watch.
The log press is in 2 weeks. So I guess final. So guesses. What do you think? Oh, I just don't feel like Oberst is gonna do nothing. Like, because he's been so active lately.
I can't say that he won't do nothing. Because he trolled Thor on his attempt. Like, he just, even just a little, like, what was he doing? He went live on his
Instagram during
he was doing, like, chest presses or something. Like, it's so
Yeah,
stupid.
but I remember when we were all watching, he's like, oh, yes, and send another home.
Yeah, we all watched that, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I can't say that he won't do nothing, or he will do nothing, but I don't know if he'll do what Mateusz did. And I'm not going to say what Mateusz did was petty either, because it wasn't. It was fucking awesome. I don't know if Robert would do that.
See,
I hope he does. I
don't know if Oberst was
Yeah.
going to do that before, but because Mateusz did it first, I feel like there's a much higher chance that Oberst does it.
It opened up the playing field.
And if Oberst does do it, I really hope he goes up 1 pound above Carney's 1 pound.
I hope he takes it up and literally uses fractional plates.
Just to make
Just put
Like,
just
if
put
you want to be
heavier
that guy
collars.
that's just like, here's a fractional plate, it's slightly heavier.
I mean,
If that's what the
Knowing
world's
Rob-
come to.
Robert Oberst is like the class clown of strongman, so I can put that past him.
You know what would be the ultimate slap in the face on that is to take the same weight that Rob does, take a piece of chewing gum, stick it on the inside of the log, press it.
I lifted more.
Whatever that weight plus a piece of gum. Beat that.
Oh my god.
if he did it right before Rob was going to do it, would Rob have to go up in weight?
No.
Like if he were to do it like the day before, they would just steal all the thunder, and then Rob would just do the same equal weight, and then
Who knows what the play on that would be? I'm not sure. You
That
probably
would be
have to talk to the producer
petty.
of that
See,
live feed.
See, that I don't think Oberst would do. I don't think he would do it the day before Kearney does it. That I don't think he would do. I think
he did it 10 minutes before Thor went on to steal thunder.
he knew.
Yeah, but Robert
did,
wasn't
like-
lifting 501.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, I mean, he knew what he was doing there. He knew no one. He knew people would know that was him being funny. If he goes and does the same way Kearney's going to do then right beforehand, he's not. He won't. I don't think he would do that. I think he would wait till afterwards and then do it. But I don't think he would do it before because, Oberst is a fan of he's a fan of the sport as a whole too, and he likes the camaraderie that's in the sport.
Mhm.
So I think Oberst would. I think he would do what Mateusz did, but I think he would do it the same way. Like after it was done, he'd be like, "Okay, now I'm going to go smash this,"
Mhm.
just to show like we need to have a contest that we're involved in because we can go on, we can go head to head. That's what I think Oberst would do.
That does seem like that's what Mateusz is trying to do. Is almost be like, yeah, when this settles, we need to come together and make this happen.
Yeah, and I would not enjoy it if Oberst would do it before Kearney did it.
Yeah, no.
I think that would be in bad taste.
Yeah.
In my opinion, bad taste. Just wait till after and then do it, and then it's fun and we all love it. Beforehand,
Oberst likes having fun, but not being an asshole.
yeah.
I know Rob Oberst really pays attention to what we think too. So please, Rob, don't let us taint your opinion. Do you? Whatever it is, your crazy heart desires, I want to see it. So you do you, and I can't wait to see it.
Oberst is definitely sitting at his computer right now waiting for the podcast to get uploaded. So
I know he is. He's very excited to see what we have to say. Rob, do it. Press it.
But yeah, I just don't see him not doing anything. I just don't think that's gonna happen.
I think you're right. I think he will do something. I just don't think it'll be before. But like Corey said,
It'll be
we still love you,
quickly after.
Oberst. Just do you.
I know you can do it, Oberst.
We all know you can do it, Oberst.
Yep.
When you watch this, just, if you're going to do it before, do it now so it's not right before.
Believe in us who believe in you.
Exactly.
Says the
See what
skinniest
kind of
guy
a
he's
video-
probably ever seen.
I also want to see the video that comes out from Kale Beck after that's all over too. So I want to see this.
So yeah, Julius Mattis has his 800-pound bench press coming up, and I don't think this is going to be a problem for him. I don't think someone's going to come out with a video of him doing 800.
No, oh my God.
I was going to say, no one can touch that.
I think Julius Maddox he will have the bench press record until someone else becomes obsessed with bench press like he has.
And it's raw too, right? Like it's completely raw. No, okay. His is the one that I don't know anything about. Like bench press, I'm a strongman. Fuck bench press.
Amen. But he's raw.
But mad respect for 800-pound bench press raw, because that's insane. I can say fuck bench all day, but I have to respect that.
Oh yeah. Phenomenal bench.
And then we also got coming up, I don't know if you guys have heard yet, but Hollins versus Shivlyakov.
The Masters deadlift.
Wait, what?
Shivlyakov and Hollins are doing a versus on deadlift for Masters world record.
Okay. Yep, and it only just recently got announced because Shivlyakov only just recently turned 40, which is the age requirement for Masters.
I wonder how healed up he is from the Arnold. Because he was pretty banged up and bruised up and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, his ankle was messed up.
Yeah. I'm sure he's healed up now because what did he pull at the Arnold?
Oh, it was crazy, stupid numbers at the Arnold. Yeah.
Yeah.
He ended up like second or third.
I was gonna say. Yeah, the dude's ex-Russian special forces. He doesn't give a shit. He eats pink for breakfast. And then he smiles, gives a salute, and then says something in Russian that no one can understand, but we still laugh anyway.
I'm excited because if he's going for max deadlift, right?
Yep.
Max. So we know what that means with Shivlyakov.
Did Terry ever pull 1,000?
No, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I know when we last saw him compete, he wasn't at 100%, and he's probably a lot closer now because he was doing that bodybuilding stuff and whatnot. So I'm sure that took a while to get back from that.
Yes, because the last time we saw him compete last year, that was like right after his bodybuilding.
Last time we saw him in that shape. Foot, right?
Ankle, yeah. They ruptured something. Not goodness, but still crushed. Have to fucking give it up. Every time that comes up, like, dude, that guy, the bag toss, the deadlift. Wow.
He was.
Wonder where that's at in his deadlift. He's got 4 more weeks. That was what, 2 months, 2.5, 3 months ago, or?
Yeah, but he had to have some time off to let that ankle recover. I mean, shit, you at least a week. I would hope. Maybe not crazy Russian drugs.
Maybe, but
I don't know about that.
It's in the beret. It's something to do with the beret.
I'm sure. I don't know. I don't remember what he pulled there, and that was on the elephant bar as well. So
it was in the 9s. I thought. I'm pretty sure he was in the 9s.
So I don't
My
know.
notes from the Arnold are just out of reach, and I'm too lazy to get up and get them.
I don't know.
And then I guess the last one we haven't talked about is the Pritchett, and is repping the 400 kilos.
Pritchett
versus Ronald Heinle.
Yeah. Pritchett versus Heinle.
That one I'm looking forward to.
Terry's maxed up at 990.
990?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking. Like, he hasn't gotten to 1,000, and he's pretty much done with Strongman. This might just be because he's so close. He just.
I thought he was making a comeback in Strongman, doing the Masters division, like Nick
he is. He's doing the Masters. He's
not giving up on it. He gave up on bodybuilding, came back to Strongman.
I was going to say, because the last time he competed in World Strongest Masters, he won. So.
Yeah, I know he's planning on doing some Giants live shows. I'm pretty sure.
But I think he might just have his eyes set on 1,000. He's so close, and he hasn't pulled it. And I'm pretty sure Shivlyakov wouldn't have an issue with pulling it.
Yeah,
And
I
this
was
is
gonna
on
say,
just
'cause,
a conventional bar. This isn't elephant bar, obviously, because it's not the Rogue. So yeah.
Yeah, because I remember that video where Brian Jones did that unit with Terry. Terry said he was moving 400 for reps already. So.
That'd be interesting. I don't know. I'm more excited about the Rauno Heinle one, though. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
I think that'll just be more fun. Those guys are going to go after it. Jerry's got a lot to prove.
Yeah, because he's. And what's cool is everyone's finally held up.
Hopefully, yeah. Everybody's had enough time to just sit and heal. Obviously, everyone has a place to train. Everyone has a place to train. If you know somebody that knows somebody, especially if you're those guys, you can get
if you're at that level, you're not having an issue finding a trace train.
Yeah, I know Rob's been training. It hasn't affected his training.
Yeah.
So,
I've been training. It hasn't affected my training. There's some things that I can't do, but there's places that I can. There's people that I know that I can go to like get the deadlifts in that I want to get in that I can't do here.
I know Shaw's licking his lips right now. Finally, for the first time in years, there's been enough time for him to heal everything up, and he definitely has something to prove. So,
yeah.
And he got his new home gym done just in time. Not that he didn't have one already, but like, imagine being
now it's nice.
All the time that he had like wrapped up into that, and how much has been pushed back. The COVID would have hit right in the middle of it when he was almost done, but couldn't finish it because he couldn't get anyone in there. How
he got it done right on time.
Yeah. I don't know. He probably would have. Well, he had that space that was his with where his gym was before, so he always could have went there because
when he kept all that too. Like he was keeping all his big stuff there, like his fingers and his Conan's wheel setups and stuff like that.
Yep, so and his big
he still has it. Yeah.
Next, his gym was like 2 storage units for a while.
Yeah.
Massive, because I mean it's got a big concrete floor, so you by dropping a stone on it. It's like, what do you fucking do?
Yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah, just picture someone else who has stuff in that storage unit just pulling by in their Shaw, like just walking around with the yoke and chains all over it, just having no idea that Strongman is even a thing. I just picture that.
Just watching him just pick up a giant rock on a platform. They're like, what's this guy doing?
Look, tell him to drown again. Wait, he's trying to pick up. Why does he keep dropping it?
But I don't want to say anything because he's 6'9" and 40 pounds. So I'm just going to keep going that way.
Yeah, I'm sure there was some that were confused by that. Could you imagine?
But
I'd ask to train with him.
I guess that's a good place to wrap up. And then next podcast will be the first episode of season 2. We'll have new overlays. We're also going to be doing some giveaways and stuff like that.
Yes, we have a giveaway coming up.
Yep.
So that's good.
Stay tuned.
Oh, it's like a cliffhanger. I see. It's like an old 80s Batman. I got you.
Oh, no, don't hype it. It's not that great.
Well, now you just ruined it.
Don't anti-hype it either.
God.
Wow.
It's free stuff, guys.
It's free.
You're getting
free stuff during the COVID that has to do with fitness, which is something that you can't get your hands on right now. So be excited.
Exactly. Be excited. It is awesome stuff, Justin.
Yes. And until the next time we meet, get yourself out there and make some stuff. Literally, It's not. You could just raid your couch cushions for what it takes to make this.
I don't know how many people would have like an eye bolt in their couch cushions.
No, I'm saying like the change that it would take to make this. Yeah, thank you. Somebody understood. Wow, Captain Literal here.
I was going to say. The guy.
I don't know too many people that have a baseball and an eye hole.
I have both of those. Listen, first off, I have both of those items easily accessible by me.
What's your saying?
Well, then I'm expecting by the next podcast that you'll have one of these of your own. But it's cheap and easy. You already said you have it.
Oh, all right. Touché.
All right. So, everyone, next time with season 2.
And the giveaway.
Hey, fitness. Get excited.
Be excited. Peace all. That was sweet.
Yep.
I haven't done one of these in a while.
Yeah, I know, Corey.
Well, you know, I was avoiding a certain somebody.
Yeah, we know. We know, Corey. I know. Either way, I think, yeah, we know.
I don't want to be mean on purpose, but if I have to be and I'm backed into a corner, I definitely will. So I just feel like instead of putting myself in that situation where I might hurt someone's feelings, I just step back.
Corey, I told you, I got you on this one. I made sure that at least we were all here, the people that we wanted to be.
It's all good. I don't want to exclude anyone. I figured instead of ruining the vibe, I would just not do it for a little while.
You didn't ruin the vibe. I missed you, Corey. I've missed seeing your mohawk, your awesome lighting.
Well, it is pretty.